There are few things in life that sting as sharply as disrespect. A cutting word, a dismissive glance, a tone that strips away dignity in an instant. It can feel like a fire igniting inside you, demanding reaction, demanding revenge. But what if disrespect was not a curse? What if it was an opportunity, a test that could forge strength instead of weakness? The Stoics believed that the world will never cease to challenge us, but we can learn to rise above it with calm, wisdom, and grace. They taught that the measure of our power is not in controlling others, but in mastering ourselves. And it is in the face of disrespect that this mastery is tested most. So in this journey, we will explore 10 timeless Stoic principles, lessons from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, that show us how to face disrespect without losing ourselves. 10 ways to remain calm, to hold our dignity, and to transform insult into fuel for growth. If you are ready to walk this path, give this video a like, share it with someone who may need it, and subscribe with the bell so you never miss the wisdom that can change your life. Now let us begin. First principle, keeping calm. There are moments in life when a single act of disrespect cuts deeper than we expect. A rude word, a dismissive gesture, the sense of being overlooked or ignored. It can ignite anger, it can stir resentment, and it can ruin an entire day if we let it. But the ancient Stoics understood something we often forget. Disrespect itself has no real power. What gives it power is the meaning we attach to it. Epictetus once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." Imagine that for a moment. A person's words or actions are like sounds carried by the wind. They only pierce us if we allow our mind to shape them into wounds. The Stoics remind us that between the insult and our response, there is always a space. And in that space lies our freedom. So when someone disrespects you, remember this: their behavior is theirs, not yours. Their words reflect their own thoughts, fears, and insecurities. They do not diminish your worth unless you hand them that power. When you keep your calm, you remain the master of your inner world, and no insult can strip you of that dignity. Take a deep breath. Think of yourself as a calm lake. Someone may throw a stone into the water, but the ripples fade quickly, and the surface returns to peace. That peace is yours to protect, and if this message already speaks to you, give this video a like, share it with a friend who may need strength today, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so that you never miss these timeless lessons. Second principle, self-reflection. When you face disrespect, it is easy to focus entirely on the other person, their tone, their words, their careless behavior. But the Stoics taught us that the true work begins within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" ask a different question. What is my role in this moment? Did I contribute to the situation, even unintentionally? Is there any truth hidden, however uncomfortable, in what was said? More importantly, how can I respond in a way that aligns with my values rather than my impulses? Self-reflection is not self-blame. It is self-examination. It is the willingness to look honestly at yourself and refine your character every time life hands you a challenge. Imagine a warrior sharpening his sword after each battle. The edge becomes finer with every test. That is what reflection does for the soul. When you pause to reflect, disrespect stops being an attack and becomes a teacher. It shows you where patience must grow, where dignity must hold, where wisdom must guide your words. And the more you practice, the less you are shaken by what others do, because you have trained your mind to meet every challenge with reason rather than rage. If you are still with me now, you are showing strength. Take a moment to write in the comments below. How do you usually respond when someone disrespects you? Your reflection may be exactly what another person here needs to read. Third principle, learning to pause before reacting. Anger has a way of convincing us that it must be answered immediately. The insult comes, the blood rises, and before we know it, words have left our mouth that we cannot take back. Seneca warned us clearly, "Whenever you are angry, be assured that it is not only a present evil, but that you have increased a habit. Each time we give in to anger, it grows stronger. Each time we resist, our strength grows instead." The Stoic practice is to pause. It sounds simple, but it is powerful. Imagine someone throws a torch into dry grass. If you rush toward it with your own fire, the flames spread. But if you step back, breathe, and choose carefully, you can stop the fire before it consumes the field. The same is true with disrespect. When you pause, even for a single breath, you reclaim control over the moment. You give your reason time to step in before your emotions take over. You ask yourself, will my reaction reflect wisdom, or will it betray my peace? That brief silence becomes your shield. Think of a great general on the battlefield. He does not charge blindly at every provocation. He studies, he considers, he chooses his moment. The pause is not weakness, it is mastery. It is the proof that you are guided by reason, not dragged by impulse. If this vision resonates with you, if you see the strength in holding your ground instead of rushing into conflict, give this video a like and share it with someone who may need this reminder today. And if you haven't yet, subscribe and click the bell. Stay with us for more timeless lessons that keep your spirit unshaken. Fourth principle: practicing empathy in the face of disrespect. When someone disrespects us, our first instinct is often to strike back or to shut down. But the Stoics taught that every person acts from their own understanding, their own fears, their own ignorance. Epictetus reminded his students, "Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourselves." What others do is not always about you. Most often it is about them. Imagine for a moment the person who disrespected you. Perhaps they are burdened by stress, perhaps wounded by old pain, perhaps lost in their own insecurities. Their words are clumsy shields, their actions desperate attempts to feel in control. When you see this, the insult changes shape. It is no longer a weapon pointed at you. It is a mirror reflecting their struggle. Empathy does not mean excusing cruelty. It means choosing to understand rather than to inflame. It means responding with dignity instead of anger. Sometimes the most powerful act is not to answer insult with insult, but to see the human being beneath the behavior and remain unshaken. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. Surrounded by betrayal, politics, and criticism, he wrote to himself, "Whenever you are offended at someone's fault, turn to yourself and reflect, are you guilty of the same?" In this reflection, he found compassion, and compassion is a shield far stronger than vengeance. So when disrespect comes your way, try for a moment to step into the other person's shoes. Even if you reject their behavior, you can understand their humanity. In that choice, you rise above them, not with arrogance but with wisdom. If this lesson speaks to you, pause the video for a moment and share it with someone who struggles with anger or conflict. A simple share might be the gift that changes their day. And as you do, remember to subscribe and click the bell so that these timeless teachings can continue guiding you on the path of strength and calm. Fifth principle: focusing on virtue instead of retaliation. When we are disrespected, the urge to fight back, to defend our pride, can feel overwhelming. But the Stoics taught us that pride is fragile, while virtue is unbreakable. Seneca wrote, "Virtue is nothing else than right reason." To live with virtue is to live in harmony with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These are the qualities no insult can touch. Imagine two paths opening before you. On one you follow anger, your words cut, your tone hardens, and though You may silence the other person for a moment. You lose your peace in the process. On the other path, you hold to virtue, you answer calmly, you act with dignity, and you walk away knowing you remained true to yourself. Which path leaves you stronger? Which path aligns with the life you want to live? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself again and again that external things, wealth, reputation, even other people's opinions, are fleeting. What remains is character. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Disrespect, then, becomes an invitation. Will you act according to your higher self, or will you surrender to impulse? Every insult is a test, and every test is a chance to practice virtue. This does not mean you must tolerate cruelty or allow injustice. It means that when you respond, you do so guided by reason, not by rage. By holding to virtue, you protect your dignity and you turn what was meant to wound you into a stepping stone for growth. If you've stayed with me this far, you're proving your strength. Let me ask you something. What virtue do you think is hardest to practice when you feel disrespected? Is it patience, self-control, or forgiveness? Write your answer in the comments. Your honesty may inspire someone else walking this same path. And if you haven't yet, give this video a like, subscribe, and click the bell, so together we keep growing in wisdom. Sixth principle, embracing acceptance of what we cannot control. There is a moment in every life when we must face the truth. No matter how hard we try, we cannot control what others say or do. Their words, their attitudes, their choices, these belong to them. What belongs to us is how we meet them. Epictetus said it clearly. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Disrespect falls into that first category, outside our control. We cannot stop someone from speaking carelessly or acting rudely, but we can choose whether to let their behavior disturb our inner peace. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, a line that divides the world between what is truly ours and what is not. When you accept this, a strange freedom appears. The sting of disrespect lessens because you see it for what it is. Noise outside your walls. It may rattle the gates, but it cannot enter unless you open the door. By embracing acceptance, you protect your calm, your clarity, your dignity. Marcus Aurelius, who endured constant criticism as emperor, reminded himself that people will speak ill no matter what you do. Their judgment is theirs. Your task is to remain just, wise, and unshaken. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain falls, but inside you are steady, rooted like a tree. That steadiness is acceptance, and perhaps acceptance is the most radical strength of all. To meet the chaos of the world, not with resistance, but with calm. To say, "This is not mine to carry, I will let it pass." If these words resonate, pause for a moment and share this video with a friend who struggles with conflict. Sometimes, one reminder of what we can and cannot control can change the way someone carries their burdens. And if you haven't already, subscribe and click the bell so this ancient wisdom can continue to reach you when you need it most. Seventh principle, using humor to disarm disrespect. Sometimes the weight of disrespect is heavy only because we take it too seriously. Seneca once wrote, "You have mastered yourself when you know how to deal with what you should not take seriously." The Stoics understood that while dignity and calm are vital, so too is the ability to laugh. Humor, when used with wisdom, can be a shield against insult. Imagine someone hurls a sharp remark meant to pierce your pride. You could bristle, you could argue, or you could smile and let a gentle joke soften the moment. Suddenly, the tension dissolves. The insult, robbed of its sting, drifts away like smoke in the wind. Humor does not mean mocking the other person, nor does it mean hiding behind sarcasm. True humor is lightness, a reminder that not every word deserves the weight we give it. Think of Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by critics, betrayals, endless complaints. He could have answered each with fury, but often he answered with perspective, and perspective has a way of bending toward humor. If you can smile in the face of pettiness, you show not weakness, but mastery. You prove that your calm is untouchable. Of course, humor must be used carefully. A cruel joke escalates conflict, but a kind laugh, a playful word, a moment of levity, these remind both you and the other person that disrespect is small, while dignity is vast. And if this vision of strength wrapped in a smile resonates with you, take a moment right now to give this video a like. Each click of support helps this wisdom reach more people who need it. Eighth principle, setting clear boundaries. Stoicism is not about becoming a doormat. It is not about allowing others to trample on your dignity. It is about being a rock, steady, immovable, aware of your worth. A rock does not lash out when struck, but neither does it crumble. It holds its place, silent and firm. When you face disrespect, you do not need to answer with anger, but you also do not need to remain silent forever. You can calmly and firmly set boundaries. You can say, "This is not acceptable," without raising your voice. You can show through your words and your posture that your dignity is not up for negotiation. The Stoics remind us that self-respect is the foundation of all respect. If you do not guard your boundaries, no one else will. To set limits is not to be cruel, it is to be just, both to yourself and to others. It teaches people how to treat you, and it teaches you to honor your own worth. Picture a Roman soldier, standing at the gate of a city. He does not chase down every stranger. He does not attack wildly. He simply guards the entrance with clarity, letting in what belongs and keeping out what endangers. That is what boundaries look like in your life. So, when someone disrespects you, remember, you can be calm, you can be kind, and you can still say no more. That is the balance of strength and grace. If this lesson resonates with you, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. A reminder to guard one's dignity can sometimes be the turning point in another person's life. And as always, subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next lesson in this journey of wisdom. Ninth principle, choosing forgiveness. When someone disrespects you, the natural urge is to hold on to the wound, to replay the moment, to feed the anger until it feels like justice. But the Stoics saw this differently. They knew that holding on to resentment is like carrying hot coals in your bare hands. You burn yourself long before you ever burn the other person. Forgiveness, to the Stoics, was not about excusing bad behavior. It was not about pretending the insult never happened. Forgiveness was about freedom. Epictetus taught that we cannot control others, only ourselves. By forgiving, we release the chain that binds us to another's cruelty. We choose not to be prisoners of their words. Seneca once said, "How much better to heal than to seek revenge." To forgive is not weakness, it is strength. It does not erase the memory, but it transforms the way we carry it. Instead of bitterness, we choose wisdom. Instead of resentment, we choose peace. Imagine walking through life with a heavy pack strapped to your shoulders. Every insult, every slight, every disrespect adds another stone. Forgiveness is the act of setting the pack down. The stones remain, but they no longer weigh on you. You walk lighter, freer, stronger, and forgiveness, practiced wisely, ripples outward. It creates space for compassion. It reminds us that everyone is fighting battles we cannot see. Sometimes the greatest act of dignity is simply to let go. If you've stayed with me until this point, I want to invite you to pause and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe forgiveness makes you stronger, or do you find it difficult to let go when disrespected? Your reflections may guide someone else listening right now. 10th and final principle, changing your perspective. Perspective is one of the most powerful tools the Stoics gave us. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, our life is what our thoughts make it. What happens outside us is small compared to the vast power of how we choose to see it. When someone disrespects you, it feels sharp, immediate, personal. But step back, rise above the moment as though you were looking down from the highest mountain. From that height, the insult is no more than a whisper in the wind. You see the smallness of the moment against the greatness of your life. Disrespect is not a verdict on your worth. It is a reflection of the other person's ignorance, fear, or weakness. When you see this, it loses its power to wound. You understand that your dignity does not depend on their behavior, but on your perspective. Think of a traveler moving through a noisy marketplace. Merchants shout, beggars call, strangers argue. The traveler continues forward, eyes on the horizon, unmoved by the clamor. That traveler can be you. With perspective, the noise fades and your path remains clear. So the next time disrespect rises against you, ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? Will it matter a year from now? Or is it a passing shadow, gone as quickly as it came? With perspective, you learn to save your energy for what truly matters, your goals, your values, your growth. And if you have walked with me through these 10 principles, you have shown strength. Let's make this journey last. Give this video a like, share it with a friend who may need encouragement, leave your thoughts in the comments so we can learn from one another, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell if you want more. Wisdom like this delivered straight to you. Remember, disrespect cannot define you. Only you can define yourself. Stay calm, stay strong, and above all, stay stoic.